All right, everybody, welcome to Fantasy Football Friday with the Fantasy Sports Boss. Boy, there's a lot of stuff going on in the fantasy football world. If you went to bed last night and woke up this morning to the news that Christian McCaffrey had been traded to the San Francisco 49ers, no doubt that gave you a big jolt because that's as big of a news item as you're going to get. And then right before I came on here, just found out that J.K. Dobbins, the Baltimore Ravens prospective starting running back, will miss the next 4 to 6 weeks due to arthroscopic knee surgery, so never-ending knee problems for J.K. Dobbins. And so right now for Dobbins, he's pretty much just a drop candidate in all leagues. Christian McCaffrey, though, clearly the big news of the day. And before I get to the injury report, I want to touch on McCaffrey a little bit more. So by the looks of it, and from what Kyle Shanahan was saying, McCaffrey, there will be a set of red zone plays for him at best. The thought is that he will play, and to expect any kind of a workhorse role for McCaffrey would be foolish because he's now just probably getting the playbook, and the game is 48 hours away, less than 48 hours away. So if you do own Christian McCaffrey, there is risk playing him this week because it's almost like a touchdown dependency situation for McCaffrey, which is not something that you see every day. With the best player in the game in terms of overall impact. But this is a really good move for McCaffrey. Part of the trepidation I had personally when I had the number one pick in one of my leagues and deciding between Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey was the awful status of the Carolina offensive line and the downright brutal status of the offense in general. That was not going to allow McCaffrey to reach his optimum numbers. Now, in defense of McCaffrey, he's played very well this season, especially of late. He so far has maintained his health, and that's really all you could ask. But now going to San Francisco, he gets a very good offensive line to block in front of him. He gets tremendous offensive support with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel on the outside, taking pressure off the defense, and George Kittle as well at tight end, one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the game. And you have a quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, who's certainly head and shoulders above any quarterback that the Carolina Panthers have. Garoppolo has his warts and all, but he's certainly better than Baker Mayfield and especially better than P.J. Walker and Sam Darnold. So, and there will also be a lot more touchdown opportunities for McCaffrey. The 49ers are going to move the ball much better than Carolina. McCaffrey's going to be put in position to score more. And when you have Kyle Shanahan, one of the best offensive minds in football, designing plays for McCaffrey, the numbers could get downright stupid. All right, they can get downright silly. So the trade is now officially passed his physical, good to go. So that was the alert that just came out. So that's good to know there with McCaffrey. So DW 49ers to the Super Bowl. They've gotten to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. And now that you have Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, tremendous offensive line. It's all set up there for San Francisco. It really is. This is a win move. They gave up 4 draft picks, which is a lot, but they didn't give up a first. And San Francisco is really going for it, obviously, because they don't have a lot of draft capital moving forward. They've traded a lot of draft picks, moving up to get Trey Lance and now getting McCaffrey and some other deals that they've done. So this is a win now move for sure. And listen, those of you who took Christian McCaffrey with the number one pick in your draft, so far that was the right call. Jonathan Taylor's missed 2 games with injury, wasn't playing well other than week 1 prior to getting hurt. And McCaffrey doing that receiving running back, double duty at an extremely high level again. So McCaffrey has been the better call between him and Taylor so far this season. This week is Drake the running back 1, and for the future, Drake or Gus. All right, so Keegan, that brings me to J.K. Dobbins. So I put a poll up there for you guys to take a look at. So Dobbins missing the next 4 to 6 weeks with arthroscopic knee surgery. He didn't look right when he came back. Probably rushed it. That whole thing in the summer with him and Ian Rappaport, where he was, pissed off that Rappaport said he wouldn't be ready for week 1. Well, the report was correct. Dobbins did not play week 1 or week 2. And when he came back, he had the one good game. But outside of that, he looked hesitant, did not have his usual burst. And so now it looks like he aggravated the knee, arthroscopic surgery. When he comes back, it's going to be Thanksgiving. He's a drop candidate. And again, I was intrigued by Dobbins coming into the season because he's, the Ravens are very run heavy. He's a very electric runner when he's right, but he hasn't been right in a long time now. And so Kenyon Drake coming off the big game last week and was a very popular waiver ad, this past waiver period, you would think he's going to be the guy, right? Well, I have my doubts about that. Kenny Drake has never been a workhorse back ever. Okay. He was last week out of necessity. Justice Hill, who's coming back this week. I picked up Justice Hill in one of my leagues. I tried to pick him up in both of my leagues. Somebody beat me to it. I'm very intrigued by Justice Hill. John Harbaugh has praised Hill up and down when he was active this season, during the summer. And I think Justice Hill is going to be utilized more than we think. So if Justice Hill is available, I think you should pick him up. He's worth adding. Gus Edwards certainly has run the ball very well. When he's healthy, of course, Edwards missed all of last season with a torn ACL as well. He might be a factor. It's looking quite muddled with Drake, with Edwards, with Hill, and with Lamar Jackson siphoning off touchdowns around the red zone, the goal line. But something tells me Justice Hill is going to emerge as the guy. I don't have any intel on it. It's just a gut feeling. I picked up Justice Hill in one of my leagues. He ran well in the limited opportunities that he had prior to getting injured. And Kenyon Drake works best in a supporting role. So Justice Hill is the guy I think you should target. Would you, Caden, the Colts fan, would you trade Brady and Justin Jefferson for Tyreek and Mahomes? Oh, God, you hate trading Justin Jefferson. I can't talk today, guys. I apologize. Even though I traded him myself in one of my leagues. I don't like the way Brady's playing right now. I really don't. And Tyreek Hill's been quarterback proof this season. He's putting up numbers with Teddy Bridgewater, basically any quarterback that's been playing for Miami this season. Tua. I think I would do that deal. I just don't like the way the Bucs are playing right now. The offensive line is a mess. Brady's taking a lot of hits. I think I would do that. Listen, Tyreek's been a wide receiver one. As a matter of fact, he might even be ahead of Jefferson in terms of fantasy points. I know he's been more consistent than him. Hill had the one quiet game. I know Jefferson had two. So I think Hill might have more fantasy points if somebody could check on that. In PPR leagues, if somebody can check on that, I think Hill has more. But I'm not 100% sure. But Caden, I think I would do that deal. I really think I would do it. Now, forgot to mention the Carolina Panthers situation. So Steve Wilkes, who shouldn't be a head coach. I mean, the guy was an utter disaster with Arizona the 1 year that he was there. He said it's going to be a committee between Donta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard and then the kid there whose name escapes me off the top of my head, the undrafted free agent. But I think Foreman's going to be the most valuable of the three. In PPR leagues, Hubbard might catch more passes, but Foreman's probably going to get the goal line duties. But either way, you don't want to start any Carolina Panther running back. If you can help it, I would not. I wouldn't even bother. But if you had one spot to use, I would pick up Foreman. All right, Jeb Armstrong. Should I trade Jonathan Taylor for Jamar Chase straight up? My other running backs are Barkley, Hall, and Foreman. My other wide receivers are Sutton and Godwin. Yeah, you need a receiver, man. Listen, Sutton is with Russell Wilson's injury situation. I think I would do that trade. And it's funny you brought that up. Somebody offered me in one of my leagues Chase straight up for Leonard Fournette. Now, in this particular league, I'm 5-1. Things are going really well. I also have T. Higgins. That was complicating matters. Having both Higgins and Chase kind of gave me pause. My running backs have Jonathan Taylor as my other back with Leonard Fournette. I thought, that's a great combination to have. I have Darrell Henderson, who I picked up. Jeff Wilson, who's now useless. And I had somebody else I can't remember off the top of my head. But also, it's supporting players. I didn't do the deal because I felt Fournette, for me, I was tempted to get Jamar Chase, but I also had T. Higgins, like I said. And Higgins has been outproducing Chase when they're both on the field. So I didn't do the deal. But in that case, I would do that. I would definitely do that deal based on your receivers. Wow, the vote. Yeah, the vote. I'm not, it's definitely, listen, the Ravens have a lot of running backs that are capable of doing this. I still think it's going to be Justice Hill. I picked up Donta Foreman. Yeah, if you have one spot to use on this Carolina running back situation, Foreman would be the guy I picked up. All right, ML, Dobbins 4 to 6 weeks. Let's say it's 6 weeks plus another 2 until full speed. That'd be, do you think Dobbins a running back 1? I think Dobbins is not a running back 1. He's not a running back 2. He is a waiver guy. ML, you could just feel free to drop Dobbins. I'm not waiting for him anymore. He doesn't catch passes. Just cut and run. Rip the Band-Aid off and get rid of him. I got Breece for Higgins straight up. Had Jamar on that team. Yeah, listen, Lex, that's a good deal. I love Breece Hall the rest of the way. Drop Gordon for Foreman. Yeah, you know what? I don't think, I wouldn't do that. I don't know. They both suck, honestly, Sebastian. I don't know if I would do that. Um, oh, by the way, somebody had asked me earlier about the super chat again. I won't get the super chat until I have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours. I think I'm at 3,000 viewing hours and 600 something subscribers. But I have the donation button on the main page. Again, it's never expected. No donations are ever expected. They are appreciated. I got one the other day. Somebody gave me a $50 donation, which is very nice, very generous. So certainly appreciative of that. Never expected, like I said, but certainly appreciated if you do so. All right, Ayuk or Sutton also playing Jimmy. So you're playing Jimmy Garoppolo? Well, if you're playing Jimmy Garoppolo, I would play Ayuk, and that's the thing that people forget. If it's a PPR league and and you're playing the quarterback of the receiver that you have, it's a win situation. So if Garoppolo throws a 20-yard pass in a PPR league to Ayuk, then you get 3 points for Ayuk for catching the pass, and I think you get less than a point for Garoppolo throwing that pass. So if your opponent has a quarterback, always play the receivers or the running backs from that team as well. I dropped Garrett Wilson for Gus Edwards in PPR. Good move, both stashes. The situation with Elijah Moore might make Garrett Wilson a little bit more valuable. I don't love Gus Edwards. I think he's just a lesser J.K. Dobbins because he doesn't catch the football. But I understand why you made the move. Christian Watson and Randall Cobb are both out. Yes, Watson and Cobb are both out. You know what's funny, by the way, about the Green Bay situation? So every receiver that's now on the trade block is automatically going to Green Bay. Elijah Moore always going to Green Bay. Even free agents. Odell Beckham, he's going to go to Green Bay. Kadarius Toney's going to go to Green Bay. Everybody's going to go to Green Bay. But come on, stop. Chase Claypool, that's another one. Let's just see what happens first. Should I put Gus Edwards in my IR and not even bother? I mean, you could. If you have an IR spot that's open, you could. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Why not? Oh yeah, DW, thank you for posting that for me. Like and subscribe. I appreciate it. I'll drop Robert Woods for Gus Edwards and T. Yeah, you could drop Robert Woods. Somebody dropped in one of my leagues today and nobody picked him up. So I don't think, Robert Woods, I think his best days are behind him. Mike Evans for Walker. Who wins the trade? PPR. It's hard to say because Walker really only has one start under his belt, so I can't really draw conclusions on him yet. Listen, I'm more, if it's a PPR league, I'm more inclined to have Evans, but it's a fair trade. You're going more on potential with Walker than a proven value of Evans. So in PPR leagues, I guess it's okay, but I would prefer Evans if you want me to be completely honest. I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore trades for a running back. They have until November 1st to get a deal. Ronald Jones, Casey Madison, Minnesota, Dearness or Kareem. Listen, Dearness Johnson would be a great get for Baltimore if they could. They're not going to trade Kareem Hunt. Deshaun Watson's got sway. He's not going to want them to trade, Kareem Hunt, who works nicely in tandem with Nick Chubb. Since Nick Chubb doesn't catch the football, Kareem Hunt plays a crucial role in that offense. Just got offered Swift, Devonta Smith, and Waddle. Wow, for Diggs and Najee. What do you do? God, I hate Najee Smith. Najee Harris. Swift can't ever stay healthy though. God, you know what? I would do that trade. I really would. I love Devonta Smith this year. Waddle's been good. You just got to hope Swift stays healthy. Super challengers. I think I would do that trade. Honestly, I think I would. All right, let's get to the injury report. So Russell Wilson is now officially a game time decision. He's got the hamstring injury. Listen, I think he should just sit out for a week. He can't play any worse, or you wouldn't think he could play any worse than he's playing right now. Brett Rippon starting means that you have to just bench Courtland Sutton, bench Jerry Jeudy. You should have benched Jerry Jeudy already. But all the Denver Broncos are bench candidates. And even with Russell Wilson in the lineup, Courtland Sutton is the only guy I would trust right now. And that is dropping him from a potential high-end wide receiver 2 to a low-end wide receiver 3. That's how bad Wilson has played. So, Wilson, it's just so bad. And, you can't chalk it all up to coaching. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett is certainly in over his head, but I think it's just too simplistic to blame him entirely for this. All right, Lamar Jackson was removed from the injury report. He's had a hip injury. Rashad Bateman, questionable. He got 3 limited practices in this week. So he spoke to the media Friday, said he wanted to play. Of course, every player says they want to play. I'm leaning on the side of Bateman playing, and Lamar Jackson needs Bateman to return to the field. All right, Jackson has not looked like his 40-plus fantasy football self ever since Bateman went out with the foot injury. And it's been a little bit of a nagging injury for Bateman. And truth be told, I have been personally disappointed in Bateman. I do own him in one of my leagues. He's been a little bit too all or nothing. The snap share has been low, or at least lower than you would like to see. So I think that Jackson certainly would benefit Bateman returning to the lineup. And I think he will be there. Would you trade CeeDee and Madison for Mahomes? No, I would not do that. No. Nope. I like CeeDee Lamb. I think he's going to have a monster year the rest of the season. And if Madison does wind up getting traded, then you're really going to kick yourself about that one. Kadarius Toney is not playing this week. I mean, this guy just fucking sucks. He really does. I mean, he is the biggest joke in full. And I'm a Giants fan. He is such a joke. It's not even funny. Both hamstrings are injured. Dude, just drink some more water. Like, I don't understand it. Carry around a jug of water. I coach football, high school kids. They carry around jugs of water all day long. I don't know why Kadarius Toney can't do the same thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. A professional athlete, he's more interested in rapping than he is in playing. So, I mean, you know what? I'm glad he's out, though, because Wan'Dale Robinson, who I think is absolutely going to ball out the rest of the season in a Deebo Samuel light kind of performance, is going to have an opportunity now to really take off this week. Dulcich, a good streamer. You know what? I mean, Dulcich in a deeper league is worth picking up because, especially if Rippon plays this week, you know, quarterbacks, untested quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, all tend to lean on a tight end. And listen, the snap share was 70 plus for Dulcich. He got a decent amount of targets. He was targeted. He had the one touchdown. He also was targeted in the red zone later on in the game. So, you know what? He's worth picking up. They've been raving about this guy going back to the summer. So, certainly he's worth a shot there. Who are some guys that could upgrade over Brady? Well, you're not getting any of the dual threat guys, that's for sure. So I wouldn't even look at Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts or anything like that. Nobody's going to be trading those guys. It's hard to say, man. It's been a dead zone in the middle of the quarterback rankings. Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, they've all been pretty bad. I think Kirk Cousins is an upgrade. Cousins kind of gets disrespected. Even Geno Smith might actually be an upgrade. I know Matthew Berry was talking about this the other day, and Geno Smith has been pretty good this year. So I wouldn't scoff at that as well. Brooks Gus, how we doing? Oh, I'm doing good, thank you, Brock. Would you trade away Mixon, Ramondre, Gallup, DJM for Eckler and Gabe Davis? Ramondre, Gallup. I don't like Gallup. DJ Moore, I don't like. Mixon's kind of bores me to tears. Yeah, I would do that deal for sure. If you can get Austin Eckler, I mean, Austin Eckler is really balling out. You talk about somebody who's going insane right now in fantasy football. That's Austin Eckler. The points have been ridiculous. He's on pace for 116 receptions, which is unheard of. I mean, that's like Larry Centers territory. Anybody who's old enough to remember Larry Centers, the Arizona Cardinals, put up 100 catches on a yearly basis. So, I definitely would do that trade for sure. Someone dropped Madison in a 12-team league. Pick him up and drop Khalil Herbert and Gus Edwards. Oh, yeah, you know what? I would pick up Madison just based on the fact that he might get traded. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Minnesota has some young guys that they drafted, last May. So I would definitely take a look at that for sure. Let's see. Pick up and sorry, my kid just walked by. I just lost J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, Boba Fett, and I love the name. Listen, you're not missing much. I mean, he was really just a hedge play anyway, coming into the season. So I don't think it's a big loss. I'm not sure what your running back situation is, but he just never was right. Had to drop Knox because of bye week playing Dulcich. All right, that's fine. I don't even think anybody's going to pick up Knox. Dawson Knox is way too touchdown dependent for me. That's why I don't particularly like him. Who's next up after J.K. Dobbins, Gus, or Drake? Boba Fett, I like Justice Hill. That's the guy who I think. I just have an inclination it's going to be Justice Hill. I spoke earlier in the show, and remember, guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. Justice Hill ran very well in the limited opportunities he got early in the season before he got injured, and John Harbaugh has spoken highly of him, so I think that's a guy that I would pick up. Is Gus playing this week? I don't think he's playing this week. No, I don't think Gus is returning this week. All right, T. Higgins is not on the injury report. His ankle's okay. It was a mess a couple of weeks ago when he got the bagel, but he played 80+% of the snaps last week. So I think it's okay to fully unleash T. Higgins. It was a lot of gun-shy people, last week. So I think we're good to go with T. Higgins this week. All right. Hunter Renfrow, Josh McDaniels said he'll practice today. He's got a hip injury. Darren Waller not practicing today. Darren Waller's not going to play. So, how about Darren Waller? I mean, is there a guy that just kind of dropped off the fantasy football map quicker than Waller? I can't think of one. He was awesome for 2 years, 90+ catches. And then last year he got COVID, got injured, numbers plummeted. And then this year, same thing. It's almost like he lost connection with Derek Carr and he hasn't been able to get it back. He's not a drop candidate because it's a tight end, but it's pretty ugly for Darren Waller, and it's not looking like it's going to change anytime soon. Great content, fast updates. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, M. John. I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. I hope you have the subscribe button hit. Yeah, Cam Akers, the biggest joke. And I told everybody from the very beginning, do not draft Cam Akers. So many people didn't listen to me. It's crazy that he went in the 4th round in drafts this year. I mean, just an absolute joke. Mark Andrews said he's ready to go. He feels good. No issue there with the knee. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit Lions, was taken off the injury report, so he's good to go. He was a little restricted last week. Josh Reynolds was able to have another solid week, but with Amon-Ra St. Brown likely having a full snap share, Josh Reynolds can go to the bench. If you own St. Brown, you want to hold on to Josh Reynolds, I don't mind. If you're in a roster crunch, you feel free to drop Josh Reynolds. Hit the like button. Thank you, Lex. All right, Jonathan Taylor. Frank Reich is optimistic he'll play. Nyheim Hines also should play. It looks like all systems to go for Jonathan Taylor. And listen, I think it's sort of a crucial week for Jonathan Taylor to reverse the narrative of how disappointing he's been. Even before he got hurt, he really wasn't playing well. So, he had that one big week, week 1 looked like the Jonathan Taylor that dominated fantasy football last season. But, it hasn't been there this season at all outside of that week 1. So I think it's important for Taylor to start getting back on track, this week. And that way we don't feel worse, myself included, for taking him over Christian McCaffrey or even Cooper Kupp. And what really pisses me off? Originally in that league, I had the top pick. I was taking Cooper Kupp all the way because I'm firmly behind the strategy of taking a receiver in the 1st round over a running back because of all the running back injuries. And that stupid Matthew Stafford elbow situation scared me off, and I wound up screwing myself royally. So, but you know what? That league I'm 5-1 in, so I've been able to post a 5-1 record, even though I'm getting nothing from Jonathan Taylor because I hit everywhere else in my draft. It was one of the best drafts I've had in a long time. So that all worked out. My other league, I'm 3-3, just so you guys know. My 2 leagues, I like to share how I'm doing as well. Will Donta Foreman be a running back 3? Is he startable? He's a running back 4 because of the awful team and because Chuba Hubbard is there as well. And there's no clear-cut starter right now, at least according to Steve Wilkes. Drop Rachaad White in 10-team PPR for Chuba. Someone had Donta just a stash. I mean, you could do that, Lex. If you have Fournette, I wouldn't recommend that. I have Fournette in both of my leagues, and I'm not dropping Rachaad White under any circumstances. When I picked up Justice Hill in one of my leagues today, I dropped Jeff Wilson instead. Jamar Chase will play week 7. He had the hip injury. No problems there. All systems to go. Jahan Dotson's questionable. He had some sort of a setback yesterday in practice. I don't think he's going to play. Dotson's been pretty good. He's been a little too touchdown dependent, but you don't want to play any Washington Commander players. Even Terry McLaurin. If you have a deep wide receiver bench and you own Terry McLaurin, I would really consider benching him. I mean, Taylor Heineke is going to be the quarterback for the next couple of weeks, at least until they get some more confidence in the kid from North Carolina, who I think should be starting anyway, because, we've seen Tyler Heineke last year. It just wasn't very impressive. So, if you own McLaurin, if you own Dotson, Curtis Samuel's completely bottomed out the last couple of weeks. He's just a bench guy now, and he's almost a borderline drop at this point. Julio Jones rolled out again. This guy, he's just got to go away. Come on, Julio, hang him up. It's over. All right. There's no reason for you to keep hanging on and collecting paychecks. All right. Pat Freiermuth was cleared from concussion protocol. He's a low end tight end one. With tight ends being as terrible as they've been this season, Freiermuth has done a good job. All right. He's absolutely done a good job. All right. Big BS. B-Rob or Mostert, full PPR. Mostert, easy. Mostert. You know, Brian Robinson, he's getting the carries, but he doesn't look ready to me. Not saying that he's still bothered by the gunshot wounds or whatever. I just don't think he got enough reps leading up to his activation. He's a rookie, still getting used to the speed of the game. So I don't think Brian Robinson is ready yet. But Mostert has looked good, and he's so far remained healthy. I mean, whatever Mostert's doing, whatever Christian McCaffrey's doing this season, hey, keep it up. All right, George Cook, Watson and Cobb out, start Dobbs over Cooks. You know what? I think Cooks is going to have a good game this week. Alan Lazard's the number one receiver in Green Bay, and Robert Tonyan is now moving into that second spot on the target tree from Aaron Rodgers. I actually would start Brandon Cooks. I still have faith in Brandon Cooks. He did good things with Davis Mills last season. I know, it's been a slow go for this season so far for Cooks, but I would go Cooks if you want my honest opinion. Rasta Donta-Former and a Wan'Dale Robinson non-PPR. I would go Wan'Dale. I love Wan'Dale Robinson. I witnessed Wan'Dale Robinson multiple times, and I think he's been very good. I think he's going to be used in the backfield. He's going to be used all over the field in the slot. He's going to be used out wide. Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be a thing. Just trust me on this one. They designed this offense to highlight Saquon Barkley and Wan'Dale Robinson. And just to show you, in a very competitive league, I'm getting multiple offers for Wan'Dale Robinson, who I own in this particular league. Anybody who really knows fantasy football knows that Wan'Dale Robinson is gonna really start taking off in the next couple of weeks. Had to drop Higbee for Freiermuth this week. That's fine. No problems there, Lex. Higbee had a dud last week. Freiermuth has been good. No problems there. Traded away Gabe Davis and Pollard for Godwin and ETN PPR. What do you think? Listen, I love it. I mean, Gabe Davis is sort of touchdown dependent. Godwin is not. And Pollard, listen, Ezekiel Elliott's has been okay. He hasn't been terrible. He's still holding off Father Time a little bit, so I think you did good with that trade. Also, traded away Kenyon Drake for Cordell Patterson to a guy that's 0-6 and needs a win. Listen, taking a hedge bet on Cordell Patterson when he comes back, I think is fine. I don't see it with Kenyon Drake. He's not going to be a workhorse back. Kenyon Drake has never been a workhorse back in Arizona. He's never been one in Miami. He physically can't handle that. Justice Hill, I'm telling you guys. All right, and it may not even be this week with Justice Hill. It might be next week, but I think he's going to be the guy that steps to the forefront. Tonyan Higbee and Freiermuth rest of the season. Oh, God. Oh, God. I mean, he's so unathletic. If I had to pick one, it would be Freiermuth. Kenny Pickett's young. He's going to target his tight ends. That's who I would pick. Warrior Love, start CMC or Breece Hall. I'm leaning towards Hall. Yeah, you start Breece Hall. I mean, listen, everything you're hearing today is that McCaffrey's only going to be in for a couple of snaps. Now, that could be coach speak, absolutely. But he literally just got the offensive playbook today. He just passed the physical. So even at this very moment, he may not have even gotten the report just came in that he passed his physical half hour ago. So let's say he gets the playbook now. We're less than 48 hours away from the game. So Breece Hall, who is a workhorse back and is doing great work right now for the Jets, I have no issue starting Breece Hall over Christian McCaffrey this week. I like to pair Aaron Jones and Mostert. Kirk, what running back should I target? I like to pair Aaron Jones and Mostert. Kirk, Everett, Eagles D. What running back should I target? Oh, I see what you're saying, Ben. Oh, boy, you're impatient with Aaron Jones. I get it. Yeah. And you know what? I love Aaron Jones. I just think he's just a great player. This coaching staff is just fucking up this whole situation with not only him, but A.J. Dillon as well. If you trade Aaron Jones and Mostert together, Breece Hall. Try Breece Hall. I would do that if I was Breece Hall. If I was a Breece Hall owner, I wouldn't do it. But if I had Jones and Mostert, I would definitely try to make that deal. So Breece Hall, trade away Debo. No, Mark, I don't think you need to trade away Debo. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed now all of a sudden, but, he's not going to run the ball anymore, and I think that's a good thing because that's going to preserve his health. And truth be told, Debo did not like running the football. So I do not think you should trade Debo. No, absolutely not. With those tight ends, yeah, right. Rachaad White worth the pickup. Yeah, you know what? Rachaad White should be owned in all leagues. Leonard Fournette has missed games every year of his career. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. All right, him and Aaron Jones, same thing. They've made it to this point. It's going to happen at some point as far as them missing games with injury. So Rachaad White should be added. Mostert, any of those guys. Ben, like I said, try for Breece Hall. Definitely Breece Hall. No. Oh, it didn't happen. Okay. Try Dalvin Cook. You might be able to get that for Dalvin Cook. All right. Dameon Pierce. I wouldn't do that. He's on a bad team. Listen, I'm an Aaron Jones apologist. I'm always going to be an Aaron Jones apologist. I just can't bring myself to trade him for that package. Kenny Pickett's cleared from concussion protocol, so he will get the nod Sunday night against Miami. This is good news for George Pickens. So if you have George Pickens, get him back in your lineup in your flex. Elijah Moore will not play this week. And how about that whole Elijah Moore thing? I hope you saw the video I posted yesterday because I was really fucking pissed off about the situation with Elijah Moore. Talk about a big baby. Your team had its biggest win in 10 years. You're 4-2 after all the garbage that they went through last year, all the losing they've done, the humiliation. This organization has known nothing but futility for the better part of 10 years. And off the biggest win of the year in decades, over Aaron Rodgers, no less, in Green Bay, and this is how this guy reacts. He demands a trade. He goes on Twitter and posts all this garbage. I mean, just shut up. Just shut up. Just be quiet. You're a second-year receiver. Nobody cares. And the Jets can't trade him. What are they going to get for him? A late-round pick for a guy they spent the second-round pick on last year? There's no way. So Elijah Moore just got to shut up, get back onto the field, and just do what you got to do. Zach Wilson. I'll say this for Zach Wilson. I mean, we all gave him grief about, banging his mom's friend and the MILF things and all that other stuff. But he said, listen, I'm not throwing a lot of passes, but we're winning, and that's all that matters. That's the right attitude. And I think that was Wilson throwing shade at Moore, and good for him because as the quarterback, he's the leader of that team. And he should have said that. What do we think of CMC? I have him. Should I trade? No, do not trade CMC, Ben. This is a good deal. Ben, you want him in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan as his coach. Absolutely. Yeah, Riley, definitely a bitch move. 100%. I can't recall a more – you just want to attach the crying baby face emoji when you think of Elijah Moore. I mean, it's just so pathetic that it's all about him. It's all about his stats and getting targets, not that your team is winning. I mean, give me a break. Just shut up. Elijah Moore is from my hometown too. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lex. I call it the way I see it. It was just a bitch move all the way. Brandon Ayuk or Sutton and flex. Brandon Ayuk, definitely. I'm not playing anybody on the Denver Broncos if I don't have to. Missed my Ramondre question. Appreciate you. What was the Ramondre question? I don't remember what the Ramondre question was. All right. So DJ Moore, the Panthers are saying that he's a foundational piece and they're not going to trade him. I don't buy it. They said they needed to get 2 first-round picks for Christian McCaffrey, and they wound up trading him. So let me give you my synopsis with DJ Moore. All right. Hold on. I just want to see what Riley was asking me. I don't see it. Also trade away Kenyon Drake. I don't see it, man. I'm sorry. Just post it again. The question they had. All right. So as far as DJ Moore is concerned, again, the Panthers have no reason to hold on to him. But what I will say is this. They're trying to bottom out. CJ Stroud should be the number 1 pick. If they get the number 1 pick, that's the guy. That's their quarterback, okay? To me, there's no doubt about it. And in February, guys, make sure you look for my prospect book that's going to be coming out for sale on Amazon, on BarnesandNoble.com. I also will sell it right through the channel. So I'm going to put up a PayPal so you guys can buy my prospect book. I do a college prospect, NFL draft preview book every year, so make sure you look for that. To me, CJ Stroud's the number 1 pick. Offensively, for sure. I mean, you could talk about Anderson, the pass rusher there for Alabama, going number 1. But if it's the Panthers number 1, they're going to take CJ Stroud. So they might be thinking about a situation where we need DJ Moore to help accelerate the development of CJ Stroud or Sam Hartman, whoever they end up with, the kid from Alabama, whichever quarterback they draft, they might be thinking that DJ Moore is good to have around to accelerate the development of this player. And they're not wrong. I totally get it. But if they can get a early, second round pick or a late first round pick for DJ Moore, the Baltimore Ravens could use him. Certainly the Rams, Allen Robinson hasn't worked out. They could certainly use him. The Chiefs could use him. Green Bay could use him. The Giants could use DJ Moore. And that one, don't sleep on the Giants trying to get a receiver because, they have a need for it. They've been linked to Odell, and that definitely could happen as well. Will Damian Harris kill Ramondre's season? Oh, Riley, there it is. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore your question. And my kid walked by again. I'm sorry, guys. This is what happens when you stream at home. And if you hear dogs barking too, I have 2 dogs. So, it is what it is. So Damian Harris will not kill Ramondre Stevenson. I said this before. You're not getting the genie back in the bottle, Ramondre Stevenson. Bill Belichick loves him. He might take away a couple of goal line carries, but Damian Harris is a limited player. And Ramondre Stevenson is not. Ramondre Stevenson is electric. He can catch the ball. He can run. He can do everything. I don't think that it's going to hurt him that much. It does drop Stevenson from a running back 1 to a running back 2. I will give you that. Let's go. Oh, hi, Anti-Slayer. How are you? I'm trying to go. I'm going as fast as I could. Would you trade Cooks and Sanders for Waddle and half PPR? Half PPR, Miles Sanders and Cooks? I don't think so. No, it's just a little too much. I think Cooks will be okay. Waddle's still second fiddle to Tyreek Hill. And Miles Sanders, Miles Sanders has been doing a good job, and he's getting the majority of touches. All right, I picked up Donta Foreman last night when CMC news broke. However, I pivoted this morning to Kenyon Drake once JK being out 4 to 6 weeks. I think Drake is the better investment, so I'm fine with that one. Picking up Drake and Edwards. Yeah, you know what, Revelation? Don't be surprised if it's Justice Hill. I'm telling you. I think it's going to be Justice Hill. And again, I have no inside knowledge like I did with Isaiah McKenzie in Buffalo, and I hope you listen to me on that one. I don't have any inside information on the Ravens backfield. I just think it's going to be Justice Hill. All right, Stevenson season. Yeah, Anti-Slayer, Stevenson, it has been a season for sure the last couple of weeks. Running back been tough this year. Yeah, you know what? Running back's tough every year because of the high amount of injuries. So, this is why I say every year draft receivers early, especially in round 1. Do not take a running back right at the top of the draft just because they're always getting injured. All right, let me see if there's any more updates here I'm curious to see. I haven't seen anything on Keenan Allen. All right, Dalton Schultz is not on the injury report. I mean, same thing last week, and then he wound up missing the game. Listen, I think Dalton Schultz is going to be fine. Now, I traded for Dalton Schultz a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for my first fantasy point. He's put a bagel, I think it's 2 weeks in a row now of nothing. Might even be 3 weeks. Yeah, it was 3 weeks. He had 2 duds, and then he didn't even play last week, so I'm still waiting for my first point for Dalton Schultz. With Dak Prescott back under center, I think Dalton Schultz is going to be just fine. All right, so if you own Dalton Schultz, I think he's going to be good. All right, Prescott always looks for Schultz around the goal line. He's a big red zone guy, and I think he's going to catch a decent amount of touchdowns. All right, is Swift a running back 1? Prince Swift absolutely is a running back 1. There's no doubt about it. It's just about injuries with him. It's just about the injuries. If he can just avoid the injuries, then DeAndre Swift could be a top 5 guy. I don't like the fact that Jamal Williams is taking all the goal line carries. And Swift hasn't gotten the amount of targets that I think he should. When they made that offensive coordinator change last year in Detroit, DeAndre Swift's pass receptions have dropped, and they haven't really come back. But he's just a supreme talent to me. All right, Justice Hill, help me understand, please. My first 3 picks, Swift, Javonte, Etienne. So, Justice Hill, hold on, I just got an alert. So, questionable. All right, so Keenan Allen's listed as questionable. Keenan Allen, if you heard Keenan Allen talk this week, he didn't seem like he was ready to come back yet. So, again, receivers that pass the age of 30, guys, you got to watch out going forward for soft tissue injuries. DeAndre Hopkins got hurt last year. Keenan Allen's hurt this year. So, that's something that you got to keep an eye on. Anyway, getting back to Justice Hill. I'm going to pull up his numbers real quick while we talk about that. John Harbaugh really made it a point to say that Justice Hill had done a very good job in a supportive role, early on in the season. And let's see. So, back in week 4, 8 carries for 45 yards. Week 3, 6 carries for 60 yards. That's pretty impressive, yards per carry. Tyler Lockett listed as questionable, guys. That just came down the pike too. So, Justice Hill, on the opportunities he's gotten, he's done pretty well. So, I think that I don't know. I have a feeling when you listen to Harbaugh speak about him, that's going to be the guy. That's my opinion. All right, Joe Villa, I beg to differ with your take, respectfully. Running back early, wide receivers deep. Yes, true. But think about all the running backs last year, especially CMC, Barkley, all the guys that got injured, Derrick Henry. And even this year, we've already been dealing with a lot of injuries at the running back position. Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor right at the top. Dalvin Cook's been banged up, even though he's been playing through it. J.K. Dobbins, even though he was, a later pick. Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs. Every receiver that was drafted in the first round has balled out on a weekly basis and has not gotten injured. So in fantasy football, you want to nail that first pick as best you can. And the only way to do that, in my opinion, is a receiver, because the incident of injury is so much less, and running backs get hurt so much. I mean, last year was awful. McCaffrey, Barkley, Henry, Mixon, Kamara, all these guys, Swift, all these guys missed time. Aaron Jones, Leonard Fournette, all of them, they all missed time, some of them severely. So that's what I would say about that. Just want to scroll back on some things. Schultz Pepper with injuries being held together by duct tape. Yeah, he has been. He definitely has been, for sure. But I think with Prescott back, it's going to be okay. There are certainly a lot of committee backfields revelation that, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I told you to sell high on a couple of weeks ago, hasn't done shit the last couple of weeks, because when they fall behind, then they have to bring in Jerick McKinnon. And Isaiah Pacheco is starting to get more and more work as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. Yes, Prescott loves targeting Schultz. Absolutely, 100%. That goes without saying, for sure. Roster Justice Hill, Adonta Foreman. I'm convinced on Hill, but there's less competition for Foreman. So I would say Foreman, but I have a feeling on Justice Hill. I was just scared of the running back dead zone, so I went running back heavy. Listen, there was a running back dead zone for sure. There absolutely was a running back dead zone. But also, look at Tyreek Hill. He's been money every week. He's been out there too. So, I think these receivers just they stay healthy, and their production is a lot less volatile than a running back is. So that's what I have to say about that. When is Kyren Williams' season? Not this week, maybe next week. Obviously, they're on the bye this week, and I think Kyren Williams is being prepped to have a decent role going forward. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. The next couple of weeks is going to be interesting with all these trades. Mike Gesicki has been mentioned. DJ Moore, the rumors aren't going away. Where is Odell Beckham going to sign? Kadarius Toney, if he gets traded. So we got to see how all of this materializes. But I think it's going to be very interesting going forward where these guys go. And, we just got to see. And by the way, how about DeAndre Hopkins last night? I mean, that was crazy. DeAndre Hopkins, I definitely didn't see that pronounced of a return. Rondale Moore, definitely disappointing. Zach Ertz, definitely disappointing. Kyler Murray, clearly loves throwing to DeAndre Hopkins with Marquise Brown out. That definitely could be a thing now moving forward. So I was definitely surprised at how quickly he was able to reacclimate to the offense. Barkley and CMC have been more consistent this year for me. Yeah, listen, Joe Villa, I get it. Barkley and McCaffrey are the poster child for running back injuries the last couple of years. So I'm pleasantly surprised and happy at what's going on there. And by the way, guys, I just made a trade in one of my leagues. Let me know what you think. I just got Alan Lazard for Christian Kirk and Wan'Dale Robinson. So, and in this league, I have CeeDee Lamb, I have Chris Godwin, and I have Michael Pittman. So now I have Allen Lazard, Michael Pittman, CeeDee Lamb, and Chris Godwin. So I built this team at receiver. I drafted Pittman in the 3rd round. I traded for CeeDee Lamb, who in a package for T. Higgins, who I had taken in the 2nd round. Chris Godwin, I think I got in round 7 because he was still coming at a value at that point. And who's the other guy I mentioned? Godwin, Kirk. Yeah, so now I have Allen Lazard, who I think has been unbelievable. All right, so oh god, I'm sorry guys for this disgusting stuff that gets posted. So this is a first. Haven't had these disgusting things being posted into the chat. So sorry about that, guys. I certainly apologize for that. And that's why I'm going to need to hire some moderators as we go along. So anybody that's interested in moderating going forward, make sure you drop me a message and let me know, because I'm going to try to make sure that we don't get stuff like that. And, unfortunately, I've been talking to some people that do this, that do the streaming for a living, and they say, like, that's part of the deal, unfortunately, that you get when you get shit like that gets posted. And, I apologize for that. So I'm just trying to get rid of all these now. And that's why I'm going to need to hire moderators. But I lost my train of thought. So, so I do like Allen Lazard a lot more than most people, I guess. I mean, that's why I had said to trade for Allen Lazard earlier during the season after week 1 there. So I think he's going to remain the number 1 guy. Will the Packers trade for Chase Claypool? Will they trade for, Kadarius Toney? Certainly possible. All right, so let me just update this now. So we were talking about Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is a game time decision, according to Brandon Staley. Staley said, and quote, he's closer to returning. So Staley saying he's closer, but he's not close enough. That's how I'm reading that. I don't think Keenan Allen is going to be out there this week. So, if you're a Keenan Allen owner, I think you're going to have to wait another week. And correct me if I'm wrong. Do they have a bye after this week? I think they might. So it might even be a little bit longer than that. So my picks in order: Swift, Javonte, Pittsburgh, Ayuk, Sky. Yeah, Sky didn't work out so far, unfortunately. Algier, Dobbs, Hendy. Yeah, so, I mean, you did pretty well there, Slayer. Listen, drafting is not an exact science. None of us, we all make mistakes for sure. Taylor Shepson, B-Hop. Yeah. Oh, so by the way, I did trade Christian Kirk today for Allen Lazard, and I threw in Wan'Dale Robinson. As much as I love Wan'Dale Robinson, I own him in both leagues, and I try to diversify my league. So if there's an injury, you don't get screwed in both leagues. And I just love Allen Lazard. I think he's just severely underrated, and he's catching a touchdown every week. So, that's why I did the deal. And Christian Kirk has been dog shit the last couple of weeks. Zay Jones is getting, quite a bit of targets. Evan Ingram is now there as well. Marvin Jones. There's a lot of targets now all of a sudden for Trevor Lawrence. So I cut and ran with Christian Kirk for sure. D-Hop is certainly back for sure. All right, well, Pittman finishes a top 10 wide receiver. Yes, I think he's going to be fine. And I loved what the Colts did last week. They ran the hurry up. It was like a college team watching the Colts. They ran the hurry up, and Matt Ryan was not sacked once because the pass rushers were so gassed from having to continually charge up the field after 20 seconds. The Colts were doing that hurry up that it kept Ryan off the turf, and it allowed him to go through his reads, and he was unstoppable. Matt Ryan was absolutely unstoppable. He had every pass almost, and you saw what happened with Pittman. They're going to go back to that again. I like Mariota. He can get rushing yards and TDs. Ryan has more pass upside, but Colts run the ball a lot. Yeah, you know what? Mariota's been okay, but Drake London and Kyle Pitts are just not going to get numbers when they're throwing so few passes for sure. Drop Curtis Samuel for Wan'Dale. Hey, good move. Listen, we saw through with Curtis Samuel. There's no use holding him on now with Taylor Heineke under center. So I'm fine with that. And 8-man PPR, I'm loaded at running back, so I was wondering who I can get for CMC. So you're going to trade CMC. Oh, you can name your price. You know what, Joe Villa, if you're going to trade CMC, this is the week to do it while the excitement and the pop around his name are at an all-time high. You're not going to have a better window to trade him than now going to San Francisco. So basically, you could ask for whatever you want, right on down to Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp. So you know what? Have at it. Target Jefferson, target Kupp, target Stephon Diggs. Start with those three guys. You should be able to get one of them. Yeah, definitely sell high on CMC. I can't. He's gonna get hurt at some point. It's only a matter of time. Go for Diggs, go for Jefferson, go for Kupp, 100%. I absolutely, can totally see somebody making that deal. Thoughts on DJ Moore? Is it worth picking him up in case? Yes, absolutely, Eldon. You should pick up DJ Moore. In fact, I was trying to trade for DJ Moore. I think that DJ Moore is going to be, if he's traded anywhere, he could be a low-end wide receiver one again. He was a low-end wide receiver one with Sam Darnold and Cam Newton at quarterback. I mean, with Baker Mayfield, things bottomed out because Baker Mayfield just sucks at football. But listen, try to trade for DJ Moore. If he gets traded to the Chiefs, holy crap, you got the wide receiver one on the Kansas City Chiefs, so 100%. Yeah, Sky Moore down, Chris Olave up. I said, remember, guys, I did that video over the summer. Chris Olave, I said I discussed all the top receivers that were drafted, and I said he was going to be the number one scorer, and he's going to have that going away for sure. Not the best options with Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, or Rodgers this week. Oh, God, jeez. I would have to go. Oh, my God. I'm not going Lawrence. I don't like the way the offense is playing for the Jaguars. I still would go Rodgers. I'd rather lose with Aaron Rodgers than lose with Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff. Yeah, Shanahan does run everybody into the ground. There's no doubt about that. So Christian McCaffrey is going to wind up hurt at some point. And I can get DJ Moore. Yeah, get DJ Moore on waivers. Go do it. Great stream, brother. We might not agree on everything, but that's okay. That's fantasy football. Yeah, amen, Joe Villa. I don't agree with everything you guys say. You don't agree with everything I say. But you know what? We keep it clean. We don't curse at each other. I don't, none of that stuff. And that's one thing I'm going to say, guys. Since I started the channel, 7 weeks ago, I have had only a handful of incidents where I've had to remove, besides the stupid porn shit that gets posted on everybody's YouTube. I could count on one hand the amount of negative interactions where, somebody cursed me out or said something stupid, So it's been very respectful, and I appreciate that. And I'm always willing to debate anybody on any fantasy football point, and I certainly will never berate you, and I don't expect you to do that to me as well. It's a respectful thing, and that's how we're going to roll with this. Yeah, DJ Moore get peppered in Carolina. Well, I don't know if he's going to get peppered in Carolina, just because PJ Walker is just god awful and shouldn't even be in the league. But I think he's going to be, if he ends up anywhere else, could be very good. Should I start Jimmy G over Trevor Lawrence this week? Yes, I would. I think Jimmy G is underrated, guys. I mean, he's taken the team to a Super Bowl and the NFC Championship, so he's got ability. Is it time to give up Drake London? He's high target share, but Atlanta doesn't. Yeah, they're not going to pass enough. Even if they bring in, what's his name? Desmond Ritter. It's not going to change the offense much. They're just not going to throw it enough. All right. So Drake London, we reached a crisis point on him a few weeks ago. So I would definitely bench him. I wouldn't cut him. Maybe wait till he has a big game and then try to unload him in a package deal. But that's about the best you can expect. Aaron Jones and AJ Brown for Brees. That's a lot. That's too much, Ben. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. That's way too much. Aaron Jones and AJ Brown for Brees. I like Brees Hall rest of the way, but that's a little bit too much. Jimmy G is safer than Lawrence. Yeah, Ritter. Yeah, Jimmy G is safer than Lawrence. I can't stand watching the Jaguars offense. And, can we all be wrong about Trevor Lawrence? I'm starting to wonder about this guy. If anybody that saw him at Clemson, he was a can't miss. He was an Andrew Luck. He was a John Elway. Like, you ask anybody who's had any kind of reputation in personnel, he was graded as high as any quarterback to ever come out of the draft. That's how good he was. So, I mean, listen, he had horrible coaching last year. How much did that stunt his growth? Apparently it did. Doug Peterson knows what he's doing. I have faith in Doug Peterson that he can turn things around, but so far it's not looking so great. Should I hold Melvin Gordon? I picked up Latavius Murray. I mean, if you have a bench issue in terms of needing to fill, to pick somebody else up and you got to drop somebody, I would drop Melvin Gordon. There's no reason to hold on to Gordon anymore. He looks shot to me. AJ Brown will go neck and neck with Brees. Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you, Slayer. I think, listen, AJ Brown is going to be fine. I was a little concerned about Devontae Smith eating into too much of his workload, but I think like with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, that Smith and Brown are just going to trade back and forth. week to week based on who's got the hot hand, who's drawing the double coverage, all that good stuff. All right, guys, I got to head out. It was a great stream today. Really appreciate the support. Again, hit the subscribe and notification if you haven't done so already. The next stream will be Sunday evening, so make sure you take a look at that. More videos to come out later today and tomorrow. So make sure you look for that. And until then, guys, have a great weekend, great Friday night. We will talk soon. Have a good night, everybody, and be well. And again, just make sure you look for that stream Sunday night, probably around 7:30. Take care, guys.